Right, welcome back. It is Sunday the 6th of March and as you can see I'm in the Bateman RB26 and we're applying some liquid N35 and it also has sulphur as well. I'm not sure how much sulphur, and we're applying it to the winter wheat and the variety is Extase. We did start earlier on in the week, back Monday, Tuesday, but then the weather turned rubbish again. Around. Yeah, so we had, I think, since then we have had about 20 mil of rain. We got the winter barley done at farm 2, still got the winter barley to do at farm 1. But we got some on for the rain, and now the weather's settled down a little bit for the next few days, so we're going to get a bit more on, hence I'm working on a Sunday. It is quite windy outside today actually, it's a really nice drying day. You wouldn't be able to, it's the wind, I think it's about 15-mile-an-hour wind out there, so you wouldn't be able to be spreading granulated fertilizer. Definitely no more than 24 meters anyway. We're applying this liquid N variable rate. So basically there's a company called SOYL that have created the variable rate fertilizer maps for us. They've taken satellite images of the crops, up-to-date satellite images, and the farm, we've told them the base rate of how much fertilizer we were going to put on of 170 litres per hectare, and then they set the parameters, I think about sort of 20% above and 20% below is how much it will vary. And then if you look up here, look, at the moment we're on 183 litres per hectare, so it actually needs more than what we were going to put on, more than the 170 litres that we were actually going to put on, but quite often I see it down sort of like 155 litres per hectare, so hopefully it will save us fertiliser, save cost on fertiliser where we don't actually need it. Because as all of you know, this stuff is bloody expensive at the moment. I'm literally dribbling money all over the field right now, thousands of pounds, just dribbling it all over the field. I'm not sure how well you can see the flow of fertiliser coming out the dribble bars right now, but the wind is barely affecting it at all. It's still quite a nice neat stream of fertiliser. Looks like there's a plastic sheet or something up in that, or it might be a ton bag. Something up in the tree that's obviously blown up there from the storm the other day. We're almost running out now. It's got counting down there, look, 80 litres. But the fertiliser application for this crop will be completed in 3 doses, and each time they will take new satellite images of the crop and then send through the maps of what we got to do. Right, packing up now, and then I'm going to head back to the yard and get another tank load. We've got a 3,000 litre tank on this machine. The forecast is for high pressure and settled weather for the next few days, and then they're not sure if the weather's going to break down again at the end of the week, but they're not quite sure on it yet. If it does stay dry, things will just keep on getting busier and busier. That's liquid money going in there right there. This is a perfect example of why Roundup is so important to us. It's Monday morning, bright and early. It's not very bright actually, but it's early. I'm just spraying these strips that I missed. Well, I didn't really miss them. The sprayer wasn't working properly. If you look in the last video, there was a section on the boom that wasn't spraying when I sprayed these turnips off of Roundup. But there's loads of blackgrass mixed in with it. That's why it's so important that I get out here and do the job properly, just to kill that blackgrass. But yeah, I guess you could, if we didn't have Roundup, we'd have to plough it really, just to get rid of that blackgrass. But we don't want to do that. It burns a lot of expensive diesel, and apparently it's bad for the environment as well. If you look on the screen, I'm not spraying a whole 24 metres, I'm only spraying 6 metres. Yeah, so the wind's supposed to pick up fairly quickly this morning, so that's why I'm sort of got an early start. To get this little bit of spraying done. It's only like 38 hectares. Luckily I didn't go and do like hundreds of hectares with the sprayer the way it was. You can look on the screen, like you can see all the little lines that I'm spraying in the field. It's not taking long. If you're wondering why I am showing the mistake that I've made, it's because I show all the good things that I do, so it's only fair that I show if I make a mistake as well. Looks like we got a bit of clearing up to do here before the field can be cultivated. There's a big ash tree there on the side of the field. There's another one down over there. That is on the grass margins. That's not too bad, but it definitely, yeah, it was definitely the ashes what got hit hard in the storm. Right, so we're back at farm 1 now, back on the liquid fertilizer, and I'm on the winter barley, which is looking pretty well. Just a little bit yellowy, desperate for what we're putting on it right now. We're a little bit late really, but that's because of the weather. Yeah, I can show you. We are right now. It's going on at 149 litres per hectare. You see that dark bit there? Look, where it was a little bit bare on the headland. It stuck a load more fertilizer on, sort of like 200 litres per hectare, just to give it a bit more juice to get it going where it's thinner. There's another ash tree down. Plenty of them about. I was just watching the weather forecast, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be turning sort of wet and mild at the end of the later on in the week, which is not good. Doesn't look like we'll be getting the drill out for yeah, a couple more weeks yet. But on the plus side, at least the bit of rain will wash in the fertiliser what we've been spending on the fields. There's a Saxo VTR there in the car park. You don't see many of them about these days. I did have one of them when I was about 18, 19, and yeah, it was great fun. Great nippy little car. Used to do about 110 to the bridge, I think. Anyone local will probably know what I'm on about. But yeah, great little car. Not very strong. You didn't feel the safest driving it. And then I sold it when I was about 20, I think, because I already had a Discovery Disco 1 and had a Defender as well. The Defender was my dad's, but yeah, I was sort of growing out of the boy racer days and getting more interested in Land Rovers. Yeah, my mate Scott, he had a VTR as well, and he put a turbo on his one, so that one really did shift. Scott had a 106 GTI, Martin had a Corsa. It used to be a right laugh. Right, I'm back in my tractor now, and as you can see, I've got the spinner on. We're putting a mix of NPK on the grassland that is going to be cut for haylage for the cattle to eat for next winter. So the grass is looking well. There's a few docks out there. The docks seem to keep coming back every year, even though we spray them. But yeah, apart from that, the grass is looking well. Simon's already rolled it. He was out there the day before yesterday with the flat rollers, rolling away. Some of the fields are getting harrowed, but these fields don't need harrowing. The weather forecast is looking still wet on Friday. Hopefully we don't get too much rain, just enough to wash in all this fertiliser I've been putting on, but not too much so that it makes the spring drilling ground too wet. And then hopefully we'll later on next week, Simon will be able to get out with the cultivator, and then we can put the new drill on. This fertiliser does also have some sulphur in it, as well as the nitrogen, potash and phosphate. But our agronomist was telling us yesterday that nitrogen has gone up to £1 a kilo. £600 a bag, which is absolutely unbelievable. Ridiculous amount of money. And all because the price of gas is so expensive, so it's very frustrating. All those do-gooders that protesting about fracking, I think they can all frack off. And Greta as well, she can frack off too. Right, Thursday morning, and I'll come up to farm 2 to pick up the Dalbo ring rollers. Hopefully I'm going to fit in this barn door. It could be a bit tight. Let's get out and have a look. Yeah, it's going to be tight, but I think it'll fit. You see for the sunroof, look. I think it's just going to touch the aerials on the GPS. Yeah, so I washed the fert spinner off this morning and took that off. You've just seen me pick up the rollers. I'll show you in a minute what we're going to go and roll. These rollers don't travel very well on the road. I think because the axle's right at the back, all the weight's on the tractor and it's bouncy. I've got my tyres pumped up. I will let them down when we get in the field as well. Right, so what we're going to roll is some winter crops. It's been drying off really nicely this week, and these never got rolled in the autumn. So we'll see if we can remember how to unfold these rollers. And then we'll grease them up. I'm pretty sure we'll pull this lever and go up and then out. First section goes out. They're 12 meters wide or 12.3 meters wide. There are a good set of rollers in the field. They weigh about 10 ton. Oh dear, it looks like the birds have been pooing on it in the barn. That doesn't look too good. We'll have to give that a wash before we take it off, I think. I think there's an owl in that old barn. What it was parked in, I bet it was that. This is going quite well. It's just nice and dry on top, and it's doing a good job. The wheat's looking quite well out here. So the reason why I'm rolling this wheat now, and I'm going to go and roll a bit of barley as well in a bit that didn't get rolled in the autumn. That is the first reason. why we're doing it is because it didn't get rolled in the autumn, and it's always good to get it rolled. Roll in the stones. If there's any big stones, it rolls them in flat, and then they don't get in the combine header. It's good for the plant. It compacts, it compresses the soil around the roots, things like that. It can make the plant tiller, and also if we go into a bit of a drought this spring, it will keep the moisture in the ground for a much longer time if the ground is flat rather than if it's all uneven and lumpy. There is one slightly bad outcome of rolling this, potentially, and that is that if there's any blackgrass seeds in these lumps that are, these clods of mud, if there's any blackgrass seeds in there that haven't germinated, by rolling them, that may make them germinate, and then they'll start growing. So that's about the only bad thing I can think of. So I'm onto some barley now at Farm 1, and you see all these flints that I'm rolling in. They're not very big ones, but still, I don't want them in the, if all this barley suddenly goes flat or something, and I have to scrape it up off the ground with the combine, all these flints will end up in the header. So I'm glad I'm getting the opportunity to roll them in. So the weaving drill quite often left the seed beds quite sort of loose and uneven. That's what it looks like, sort of not very flat at all. And then we spring it round to what I've rolled, much firmer and much flatter. It's doing a really good job. So they still seem fairly sure it's going to rain tomorrow on Friday, which is unfortunate and annoying, but then again it will wash in the fertilizer, so it's not such a bad thing. Yeah, hence and because it's going to rain tomorrow, that's why I'm still out here in the dark now, trying to get as much of this rolling done as I can, and because it's doing such a nice job, I want to get it done before it rains. I won't get it all done, but tomorrow, if they have got the forecast right, I shall be in the yard probably washing the Bateman, because that's still covered in fertilizer. We'll get that washed off and do a bit of maintenance on there. I'm not sure whether I'll do any videoing or not, so if I don't, in case I don't do any videoing tomorrow, we'll say now thank you very much for watching the video. And don't forget to follow It's a Farming Life for Me on Patreon if you want to be in the draw to win the 3/8 12-volt Milwaukee impact gun. On the 4th of April I will draw that. It does cost a few quid to subscribe to the page, but there's lots of other things on there. I do post content on there most days of what I'm doing in between videos, and it's about the same as a pint of beer anyway, so it's not actually that much. I know there is a lot more important things going on in the world at the moment that you're probably better off donating your money to, which is a lot more important than anything that I'm doing. And you've probably noticed that I'm staying off the subject. If you want to, you're going to watch the news if you want to see that sort of stuff, aren't you? I'm going to stay off the subject.